Congratulations. This is going to be glorious, okay? Now, this is not a word for everybody, but this is a word for a group of God's people, okay? There is an inheritance that is coming forth, all right? And this inheritance is what has been promised to you from the Lord. After a time and a season of turmoil and obstacles, the Lord is going to lead you into your inheritance. However, you have to pay very close attention, because for the group of people this resonates with, the Lord is going to give you some instructions. I posted a video yesterday pertaining to take it one day at a time. I mentioned the difference between God giving you instructions that have a time frame attached to it versus the instructions that don't have a time frame attached to it. When God's instructions have a time frame attached to it, that is usually the instructions that you have to see as priority, okay? When instructions don't have a time frame to it, still be obedient and still follow these instructions and still work on whatever God tells you to work on, right? But you can take your time with it. When there is a time frame, you want to make sure that instruction that has a time frame is priority and you are working on that consistently, okay? Now, this is very important because the Lord is going to bless many of you, and this is going to be an inheritance blessing, okay? However, although each and every one of us are going to receive different instructions from God, and our inheritance is going to be different. Some of you guys, it's going to be financial wealth. Some of you guys, it's going to be a new ministry. Some of you guys, a new business. Some of you guys, it's going to be moving. Some of you guys, it's going to be your health. There's going to be an inheritance for many of God's children, okay? Although all the instructions are going to be different that God is going to give us, there is one instruction that the Lord said that a lot of us are going to have to listen to. His words are, make sure you are in incredible obedience. I'm going to say it again. Make sure you are in incredible obedience, as in pay very close attention to everything that God is going to instruct to you. Like, yes, it's important to pay attention to God every time, every day, but there's going to be a specific set of instructions that each of his children are going to get that is going to lead you closer and closer to your inheritance. And he said, make sure you are in incredible obedience, as in make sure you are receptive to everything that he is telling you, because that is what's going to ultimately lead you to where he needs you to be. When God tells you to do something, even if you don't understand it, even if you think you're not qualified for it or you don't feel confident to do it, it's very important that you obey. Again, his words. Make sure you are in incredible obedience, which means if God says yes, you can't say no. If you don't know how to do it, God is going to teach you how to do it. Stop trying to figure out how it's going to be done, how you're going to learn, how this is going to happen, and just say yes to God, because he is going to instruct you on how to do it, okay? Now, he led me to the book of Exodus. I told you guys God gave me words from the book of Exodus, right? The Lord led me to Exodus 4. Remember, when he started to give Moses instructions on what he needs Moses to do pertaining to Pharaoh, right? He didn't even think that he was equipped enough to go and deliver these messages, all right? But God instructed Moses to do so. God instructed Moses to be obedient. God at one point even had a little bit of anger in him when Moses kept making excuses as to why he doesn't feel like he's equipped and suitable to comply to God's instructions, okay? That's why God said, make sure you are in incredible obedience. Okay, which means no excuses. Everything he tells you to do, he needs you to do it. Right now, God is all about his timing for things, right? And again, if some of the instructions he gives you doesn't have a time frame, take it one day at a time. The key is to be obedient, not to neglect it, to do it. So even if God says, hey, like for example, write a book, right? He may not give you a time frame when to complete this book, but it's up to you to stay obedient, as in every single day you spend 10 minutes on writing, 20 minutes on writing, okay? And that means that every day you're dedicating 20 minutes to it, although you don't have a time frame, right? That means that you are still operating through incredible obedience. Again, that's just an example I'm giving you. Another example is, let's just say God does give you a time frame and he says, hey, by March 24th, you have to go and fill out this application and you have to send it in, right? That means that you have to do this ASAP before March 24th, okay? So I'm showing you the difference between instructions that have a time frame versus instructions that don't have a time frame. The similarity of these instructions is that regardless if there's a time frame or not, you are still spending time within that instruction and complying to what God told you to do. You're not making excuses. And the reason why is because God is changing lives. When God gave Moses the instructions to go and approach Pharaoh, that was the beginning of the Israelites receiving their freedom, okay? It all started with God giving Moses instructions and telling him what to do. So now these instructions that the Lord is about to give many of you guys, it is actually leading you to your inheritance, just like how instructions God gave Moses led the Israelites to their inheritance. God is leading you to your inheritance. Exodus 4 verse 10. This is when God gave Moses instructions, and this is what Moses said. Moses said to the Lord, pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue. The Lord said to him, who gave human beings their mouths? Who makes them deaf or mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will help you speak, and I will teach you what to say. But Moses said, pardon your servant, Lord. Please send someone else. Then the Lord burnt in anger against Moses, and he said, what about your brother Aaron the Levite? I know he can speak well. He is already on his way to meet you, and he will be glad to see you. You shall speak to him and put words in his mouth. I will help the both of you speak, and I will teach you what to do. Now, the reason why the Lord showed me this to give to you guys is because where God is taking many of you and the instructions that he's going to give you, many of you guys are going to try to make sense of it, but it's not going to make sense. Lean not on your own understanding. That means God may even have some of you guys entering into like careers that you've never thought you'd be into, working on projects you never thought that you would ever do, things that you thought that you were not equipped to even do. Similar to how God will lead some of us to put prophetic words out and we're like, God, I don't know if I want it. And God's like, go and do it. I'm going to teach you what to say. I'm going to teach you what to do, right? God is going to teach you how to do it. He is going to train you. The key now is that you are to be obedient, because the obedience in this season is what is going to ultimately lead you to your inheritance, okay? Congratulations. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.